Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm John and I'm sitting here with my new best friend, the 2021 Honda Trail 125 or CT 125 or Hunter Cub. So for this video in the series of Honda Trail 125 features and specs, orientation, walk around, sort of educational videos that I'm making, we're going to focus on the controls of the bike. Controls are how you control the bike. Pretty basic, right? So the handlebars, the cluster, the gauge, the mirrors, the brakes, and everything you use to control the bike. Pretty simple, right? So with that, without delay, let's dig into the controls and the features on the new Honda Trail 125. Okay, so in this video, like I said, we're going to focus on the controls and ergonomics of the bike. So by controls, I mean, how do you control this bike? Well, you control it with the handlebars, clearly, and you control it with the shifter. You change gears with your feet, and then you also use the brakes with your feet. Right there, that's the rear brake, and then here's the front brake. Obviously, controls also mean the start buttons, start switch here, or on-off button as I should say, start switch here. You have your high beams, you have your horn, you have your turn indicators, left, right, and cancel in the middle. You have your key down here. Comes with a really nice Honda key. Of course, Central Florida Power Sports is where I got it. And it comes with a really nice cluster. I'll turn it on for you. You can see it's a really sleek display, nice black bezel, has a neutral indication light. So if we go up to first, as you can see, that goes off. Go down back to neutral, it comes back on. ABS light, that's important. This bike is equipped with ABS, and you have a high beam indication, turn signal, and a check engine light. Then you can also change this between trip A, trip B, total miles, and ergonomics. So how does this bike feel when you ride it? Ergonomics is the practice of what you're doing in your environment and how comfortable you are in that environment. So we see here the seat. I want to focus on this seat for a little while. This is definitely a scooter type seat. Obviously, this is more a scooter than a standard motorcycle. The seating position is more scooterish, and the seat looks big and comfy. But my first sit on it, I found it really, really stiff. This is a stiff seat. It is not too soft. Now, the Monkey seat is very soft in contrast, but the Grom seat is a little stiff too. So I don't know how this bodes for long rides. I spent about 20 miles on the bike and hadn't really gone too far, didn't really spend a massive amount of time on it, but the time I did spend on it, my rear end didn't hurt. So so far so good, but it is a lot stiffer than it seems. One thing that I'm going to point out is that as a 6'1" person, I sit towards the back of this seat, and with that, this bar is right up in the area to where you're going to end up sitting on this bar or hitting it with your rear end or your tailbone, the worst case scenario. And that's no fun when you get to riding some rougher roads. So basically, if you're not standing up and you're sitting and you hit a pothole, if you're tall like me, you're sitting towards the back of this seat, your rear end's going to hit that bar. That's not a pleasant experience. So I'm not exactly happy with the placement of this bar, and I don't really know what you can do about that. I've seen some people cut them off, so that might be something that I look at in the future as far as potential changes on this bike. And while we're up here in the handlebar section, I want to point out these grips. This is like a motocross style of grip. It's very stiff. It's not exactly comfy. So if you're riding barehanded, you're going to find this as kind of an aggressive grip for barehanded riding. When you're wearing gloves, however, it's fine. You have plenty of grip, and you're definitely not going to lose your hand grip on there. So for barehanded though, I might want to change these out to like an ODI style road grip or something, because it just has a lot more cushion and comfort feeling. And moving over here to the throttle, the one thing I noticed is there's a little bit of free play in this throttle here. It's a good 1/4 inch of free play. So that's not in the cable either. That's right up here in the push-pull mechanism of the throttle cable assembly and the throttle housing, the throttle tube housing, should I say. So that was one thing I was a little surprised about on the fit and finish right there. And looking at the rear view mirrors on the bike, they are standard Honda Fair mirrors, just like the Monkey. And I could tell you from my experience riding already, they don't see around me. They're not wide enough. They're not out as far as they need to be to see around my shoulders. So didn't expect anything else. I don't ride on the road a lot, so I'll probably take these mirrors off, as I don't do a lot of road riding. So they're easy enough to take on and off, and if I do some road riding, I'll throw them back on. But a spacer, for those that do road ride, that puts them out further and gets you another inch or so, that might be something that you guys would be interested in. Looking at the front brake lever, it is powder coated matte black, which is certainly different than the Grom and the Monkey, which is a dull chrome. So that is a nice touch with the black motif, the black bezels on the lights, speedometers. These of course are flexible. I'm not just manhandling it, but everything's got a nice matte black kind of finish on it, which I really like. And I noticed these bar ends, I thought they were loose at first, and I turned them and I even took a screwdriver to them to tighten them up, but there's nothing to tighten. So these are a different style of bar end basically, and I'm not quite sure how they work inside, but they don't come out, but they are not kind of tight and solid in there like they are on the Grom and the Monkey. So I don't plan on removing them. I'm going to leave them in there and see, but they seem to be pretty good, and they don't bother me. They look nice, and they're flat black. They're not chrome. They don't stick out, so I'll leave those on there. And the controls basically are the same as the Monkey and the Grom. You have your high beam, low beam, your horn, your turn signals. You have your left, your right, push in the cancel. And on this side, you have your start switch. So that's off, that's on. Here's the start switch. And you have your brake reservoir with the sight window. Down here, you have the off-on ignition switch. So a very cool little thing about the Trail 125 is this heel shifter. That's kind of one of the first things you're probably going to notice when you jump on the bike. So I will say, one of the cons of this system is it's encroaching on your foot room. So I wear a size 12 boot. I usually wear like cowboy boots when I ride, and you're definitely going to be hitting this with the heel of your boot. So, and it's kind of awkward sometimes to always have your heel at that kind of angle. So it's one of those, I guess you could say, cockpit comfort sort of things, ergonomics. Okay, thanks for watching. Please be sure to check out all of the other feature videos on the Trail 125. I try to cover each section of the bike in up close detail, foregoing the specifications and more or less showing you how it works on the bike and what I feel about it. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you like this content. There's tons more to come.